Man, I don't know about you guys, but I've already put in a full day's work today, and here I am for job number 2. For the first time ever, the Man Event calls an audible and has a Monday night show. We are fresh off of another Buccaneers victory. The Rays are struggling to find their way as the season closes out. Who won and who lost in Pick'em last week, and you can't fix stupid. TSG is off officiating weddings, but don't you mind the Pooh Bear. Chief, B-Love, we are here. I know it's not Sunday, but it's better late than never. Welcome to the Man Event. What is so funny, Chief?
I just noticed, like in that intro, like I'm eating in almost every scene that I'm in.
Well, you're working in the first one.
Yeah, and yeah,
That's great. That's great.
We like.
All right, so listen, we called an audible. We're not going to call out plays like Peyton Manning, though. But obviously, we're here on a Monday night. The reason being the Rays played yesterday. The Buccaneers played yesterday at 4:30. And we, of course, are not going to miss a snap of those games. So we decided to call an audible and move this show from Sunday night to Monday night instead of pre-recording an early show because we wanted to be able to bring you our reactions to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons game yesterday. And boys, what did you think?
Hey, I just want to say I like this setup right here. You know, like when you get on an airplane and there's first class and coach, the guys in first class have all that extra room. Without TSG here, look at this, man. I'm like I got all this room. It's like wide lane. I am comfortable.
Can we make your picture bigger?
I don't know. I don't have that technology. You're probably whiting me out, man.
No, made me bigger.
You're first class.
There you go.
Oh man. So hey, listen, I'll kick us off here. Like in terms of the game, obviously the Buccaneers come away with another victory, but man, I am pounding this defense is no good.
Whoa. Slow your roll a little bit. This run defense is phenomenal, okay? So with that comes the expectation from the other teams to pass the ball, which is going to expose some flaws in your secondary, which is what you're seeing. So to say they're terrible is not a great description.
Okay, well, how about this? The secondary is so bad.
Nope. The secondary is having some issues right now. If you remember right, the secondary didn't really turn it around until after the bye week last year. They had to gel a little bit. So I'm not concerned really with the secondary. There are some depth issues with SMB, Sean Murphy Bunting being out. That's a concern, but there may be some help on the way.
Chief, are you watching the same defense that Pooh Bear is?
So I'm watching the same defense, and I hear what he's saying, and I think another way to put it is that if you're the opposing team, okay, you have two different ways that you can play your game. You can play to your strengths, or you can play to the other team's weaknesses. Our Cowboys played to our weakness last week because we know they want to run the football with Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard, and they threw the ball a bunch. The Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan, by the way, do you guys know he's got the 10th most passing yards in NFL history?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Dude, he is a really good quarterback, and they have got a lot of talented receivers. I'm just going to, I have some things to say about Atlanta coming up. I'm just going to let one of them out of the bag early here. University of Florida product, Kyle Pitts, new tight end for those guys. Dude,
he played great.
He did play great. He caught 5 of 6 passes for 73 yards against us. If I feel that if Matt Ryan had the weapons that Tom Brady has, man, we could have been in the script could have been flipped on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go back and I look at that defense and you're going to say, oh, well, they got a couple of sacks and they had a couple of interceptions.
Two pick sixes within like 3 minutes or something.
Okay, but hold on. That was like at the end of the game where Atlanta's behind. They don't have very many options. It's easier to play defense when you know what plays the offense is going to run. And when you're down at the end of the game like that, that's what happens.
Atlanta was only not coming from behind for the first 5 minutes of the game. They were behind the entire game.
They were close enough though. They were still in the game. At the end of the game, you got to make some decisions. We're all in, or we're just going to kneel on it. And that's when they got the mop up interceptions.
Well, I'm going to give you an advance warning for the rest of the season. This is exactly what you're going to see, because every team the Buccaneers are going to play are usually going to be behind, and they're going to have to abandon the running game. So get ready for some secondary.
I'm okay with it. I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying, like,
you're saying they're playing terrible.
They did not play great.
No, I don't think they would tell you they played great either. But what I'm saying is that's to be expected when you're leaned on so much in a game like this, where you've got a pretty good offense you're playing, but yet the secondary, their run game is non-existent, and they're passing the ball so much to try to catch up. You're going to be exposed a little bit.
They've got to find an answer to that short screen pass, because even Atlanta started running those plays in the second half to try to get them back in the game because they saw Dallas have so much success with it.
If Tampa has built their team to stop the run and they feel that they're going to put themselves in a position offensively that other teams are going to have to play behind, then they have mismanaged their defense. They should have spent a little bit more on the secondary and less on the defensive line. And that's hard for me to say because, I love the defensive line. There is a way for the defensive line to help out the pass, and that's to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Correct.
And, we did see that in the fourth quarter when they were obvious passing downs and they were just able to just abandon the run lanes and just go right after them. And we're going to need to see some of that next week too, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Well, there may be some help beating down the door right now as we speak. Literally. A little bit of a pun there. Nobody's catching on with Richard Sherman.
I get down the door. Now I get it.
Richard Sherman, who is a free agent and has been in contact with the Buccaneers, or at least his agent has, to potentially help seal up some of these secondary issues we're seeing. I'm of the opinion that an 80% Richard Sherman at the end of his career is better than, some Murphy of the players. Bunting. Well, he's gone. I mean, he's on the IL for 8 weeks or whatever it is. So, but from, the Jamil Deans and the rest of the bunch that we've seen, he might help.
Do we have any idea what Richard Sherman is looking for as far as pay goes?
No.
And do we have that available to us? That's that. And where does he fit in? I mean, he's not going to be a number one cover guy, so he's going to have to be either the slot or a number two cover guy.
Well, who's going to be your number one? You're going to leave
Winfield Jr.
Well, he's a safety.
No, Carlton Davis is still out there as the number one.
So you're going to leave Carlton Davis and the number one receiver, and let Jamil
with help
Dean,
from a safety probably.
Which is what you're seeing now. I mean, it can't get any worse, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well,
but I don't have a problem with him playing on the B receiver.
I don't have a problem with him either on the B receiver. I'm just saying, I wonder. I know that he has asked to be paid, and I just don't know. Maybe that's ask him. Maybe he knows. Is he bringing you that information we need?
Hey, Chip.
He snuck me in some dinner here, but he also spilled some hot sauce.
Chief, I haven't seen any reports about what he wants to be paid, but it's week 3 of the NFL season and you don't have a job. Beggars can't be choosers. But to your point, I don't know. I mean, we're already strapped on the salary cap. I don't know what we have to give.
Yeah, that's my point. I just don't know that we have it to give. I'm going to go here and do a little research on this for right now and see if I can't find out something for us.
All right. So, Chief, while you're doing that, I found a couple interesting things I came across. Again, I know we're only 2 weeks in, and I know you have some things to share with us about how you felt about the Falcons this past week. But, hey, listen, is it good to have the GOAT?
Why wouldn't it be good to have the GOAT?
I mean, this guy is a gazillion years old. He leads the league in touchdown passes after 2 weeks. Another five touchdown game yesterday.
He's on pace to throw more than he ever has.
Yes, throw more touchdown passes than he ever has.
In 14 more touchdown passes. He'll throw more touchdown passes in his 40s than he did in his 20s.
He threw in his 20s, yeah. That's pretty ridiculous.
That's incredibly ridiculous.
And hey, I think the Bucs offense is just what we expected about two in terms of scoring. I don't know if they're got it together quite yet, but right now they're our highest scoring team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Which makes up for having a defense that's not playing up to par, right?
Yeah. How about Gronky?
Oh my gosh! All the tutties, the tutties.
By the way, he's the leading receiver for tutties in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. He got 4.
So
that
good. Dude is looking good.
Chief, it's fun watching this team right now.
So I didn't find anything from my friends at the NFL.com on how much Richard Sherman is asking for, but let's put it this way: there are other teams, including the Seattle Seahawks, where he played for a long time, that are interested in him. So,
there's two.
I guess it comes down to what Richard thinks. If he thinks that he's going to get paid, or if he won a Super Bowl.
I was going to say, I think at some point you get the Tom Brady discount.
Correct.
And the Tom Brady discount is this team looks pretty legit to run it back.
Correct. And he's going to come. He's not in a position to command a high salary with his off-season antics, and that still needs to be cleared up too before he's able to join a team. I don't think the Buccaneers, the Glazers, or even Bruce Arians are going to bring him on board. We saw this with Antonio Brown last year. They really kind of vetted all of his problems before they brought him on board. So I think the same is going to be true for Sherman. If he is a viable option and available to come and play, that's all going to have to be worked out to find out why he was beating down his in-laws' door looking for his wife.
Yeah. So, Chief, you had some things you wanted to share with us about the Chiefs? Or I'm sorry, about the Falcons?
About the Falcons. So, the Falcons, yeah, I do, because that was a way better team than I expected to see after their Week 1 performance. I thought that this was going to be done by maybe the first quarter, and they were in it to win it, all the way until mid fourth quarter. Atlanta, by the way, talking about how good our defensive line is. Do you know how many sacks that Atlanta allowed?
1.
They allowed 1 sack. That's really good against this Buccaneers defensive team. How about who do you think threw for more yards? Was it Matt Ryan or Tom Brady?
I believe Matt Ryan threw for more yards.
Matt Ryan did throw for 4 yards. He threw for 300 total yards. Tom Brady only threw for 276 yards. Now, Atlanta, they did fall victim to our defensive run. They only were able to muster 2.8 yards per game, and they gave up on it after only 55 yards. There's a stat out there that I've seen a couple times that said last year 11 teams started 0-2, and none of them made it to the playoffs. I think that the Atlanta Falcons have a chance to become a wild card team in the playoffs. I think we're going to see that this team is going to be able to put it together.
Okay. I don't know. I agree with everything except maybe making the playoffs. Here's the thing.
They gave the world champions everything that we wanted, everything we could handle up until that. We have 14 unanswered points in the third quarter alone. That's pretty solid.
Yes. Now, the way the game played out, we got up on them fast and pretty early. In fact, we were joking around at the Pooh Bear's house going, man, what are we going to do when this game is boring at halftime? Well, it never got boring. It never got boring. And the reality is that defense allowed the Falcons to get back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And you can only trade touchdowns with the Buccaneers for so long. And essentially, when you look at the win last week and the win this week, basically neither of those teams could trade touchdowns with the Bucs. Right? At the end of the day.
At the end of correct. No, you're right. They could not trade touchdowns with the Bucs.
Our offense was just better than them.
Which helps make up for a less than
lackluster
superb secondary.
Yep.
So we got a comment from TSG. Says that 2 weeks in a row, Jensen's committed a costly penalty.
You know, that he did 2 weeks in a row. You know, he actually that pile clearing penalty that they called on him. I don't know how much of a penalty that really should have been, because the pile was still moving when he launched. And I know that any good center in the NFL just looks for a chance to lay a lick on somebody. That's their MO. You know.
Well, Pooh Bear, I even think that you said yesterday we were talking about Jensen specifically, and you were like, you know what? I don't have any problems with some of the penalties he gives up.
No, Chef Javi was pretty upset with that first penalty. I think it was a personal foul in the first quarter, one of the touchdown drives actually. And what that is to me, in my eyes, and I don't know this for certain, but it is a tone-setting penalty. He is letting that nose tackle or the defensive lineman that he's penalizing or committing the penalty against know that, hey, I'm here all day, buddy. You're going to have to work really hard to get through me. Whatever garbage you were just trying to pull, I'm tougher, I'm badder, and you're going to be seeing it all day long. So that I'm fine with that. It's because that's not a boneheaded, I'm making mistakes kind of penalty, right? Those are the ones you don't want, because this one, I don't want to say it was intentional, because it was probably some intentionality to it, and probably 4 or 5 plays prior to that. This just happened to be the one he got caught on. So I'm fine with those. When they become play after play drive killers, then that's a problem. I don't think that was one of them.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, any last thoughts on Bucs v Falcons?
Hey, a win is a win, and I will take that win over, a hard-fought loss any day.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk about the matchup against the Rams later on in the show. Real quick, as we kind of round out the NFL. So we still have a number of people after 2 weeks that are still going in the Survivor League. Brode, you're out.
Andrew.
We still got some folks in. But, Chief, who are you picking next week for week 3?
So let me just make a disclaimer here, or confession, I guess, because I did pick Dallas this week on the show. And after I hear some injury reports, I wasn't as confident with my pick. So I did change it to the Bucs. I went ahead and made that change. Turns out I would have been okay either way. But, you can't win it if you're not in it. So so
are you picking Kansas City in week 3? Then is that what you're saying?
I'm not picking Kansas City in week 3, but I am finally getting around to picking the Browns over the Bears. This is a team that I feel is going to be a really good team, going forward this year. And
Browns,
that's my pick. Browns over Bears.
Time out. I'm out of Survivor, so I don't have a dog in this fight. Again, pun intended. Brown dogs.
Yeah, I heard.
You know that Baker Mayfield may have broke his clavicle making a tackle.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
So it's
Pooh Bear, come on, man.
I'm just trying to be
the right to take.
I'm just trying to be fair and objective. Somebody's going to
changed your pick every week so far.
Somebody's going to watch this and go like, "Are these guys even watching football?" Because the Cleveland Browns.
Got it, man.
So what happened was Baker threw a pick and he tackled the person that intercepted his pass. So I have not heard whether or not what the severity of the injury is, but he did leave the game. So I don't know. You may want to research his injury before you pick the Browns.
So at a minimum, his pride got hurt. So all right,
yeah.
All right. So I'm going to take the Raiders over the Dolphins for week 3 in my matchup.
Ooh.
Feeling pretty good about the way John Gruden's got that group playing. So.
Yeah.
How do we, Pooh Bear Chief? Which one of you's got last week's picks? Who was the winners and who was the loser? All right.
Well, I was definitely the winner. Let me put that out there. Call it like it is.
One.
So our first game that we picked was New Orleans and Carolina. We finally got to see the Jameis that we all know and love throw a couple of picks and just make some really poor decisions. Both TSG and B-Love had New Orleans winning that game, so they lose. Me and Chief get a point. Dallas and San Diego was our second game. Dallas wins on a last-second field goal, if I remember correctly.
It was
Steve Zerline. Chief was the only one that correctly picked Dallas. Well done, sir. And our final game was the New York Football Giants versus the Washington Football Team. TSG and I picked the Washington Football Team. We were both correct with their victory. Tyler Henneke becoming a folk hero of sorts.
Right, so does that mean I went over?
You did, and I was just going to call you out on it.
You, sir, have earned the golden sombrero.
Wow, I went over.
For 3. So
this
for the season,
so I can get.
Well, let's
I
go.
was going to say, just so I can get some clarity, are we keeping stats for the whole season so I have an opportunity to redeem myself?
You're darn right I am, buddy. You're darn right. Right now, you're sitting at a very proud 1-5. You have chosen one game correctly. So fantasy geeks, do not listen to Be-Love. TSG's at 2-4. I'm in second place at 3-3, 500, and Chief is in the lead. The big dog at 4-2.
Pay attention. Let's show you how
go.
it's done.
All right.
Chief has all the stats.
So which games are we picking this week? What's week 3 look like?
So the first game, you've already picked it. It was the Dolphins and Raiders.
Boom. Dolphins at Raiders.
All right. Yeah, and I said I was taking the Raiders over the Dolphins.
There you go.
All right. So Chief, who you got?
Now that you've picked them, I don't feel so solid about my pick, but I'm also picking the Raiders over the Dolphins on this one.
Oh man,
he's a Dolphins fan, so he's in a real troublesome spot here.
I don't like the Dolphins right now. I'm gonna go with the Raiders as well.
You're gonna go with the Raiders. And let's give TSG the.
We're gonna give TSG the Dolphins.
We'll give TSG the Dolphins. He's trying to chime in with it. I'm like,
that's what TSG.
Yeah.
No. Let's see.
He's trying to.
Should we give him the Raiders?
We'll give it to him.
On there.
All right. The next game.
The Falcons at the Giants.
Falcons at Giants.
All right.
I'll go first. I'm not afraid. Let me go first.
All right, Chief.
Because I'm going to pick the Falcons. Right there, I just said.
Well, clearly because you still think they're going to make the playoffs.
This is their first win of the season. This is where their team turns around. Boom.
Whew.
Chief.
Man, this one is I'm going to have to take the Giants.
Oh man,
I feel better already.
Well, we've got some comment here from Mr. Geiger. He's going Falcons.
Right. He's got the Falcons too. Pooh Bear, who do you got?
I'm going to have to go Falcons as well.
Man, I might beat you guys finally this week.
You know, I mean, I can make an argument for why the Giants are going to win, but after what I saw the Falcons do to the Bucs yesterday, I think they and their first game against Philly was pretty good. I mean, they were in it, so I like the Falcons. All right, final game.
That's the Saints versus the Patriots.
Right,
I want to hear from you. I want to hear you go first this time.
Man, this is a battle of two teams that suck. Week one,
Jameis was the next coming.
Listen, well, that's what I'm saying.
He threw 110 yards week 1, 140 yards. He didn't throw for
what was it? Was it Rich Eisen? Who was the guy, or Dan Patrick? Was it Dan Patrick who said,
yes,
what I love about Jameis the most is he keeps both teams in the game?
Yes, it's a great quote.
So the deal is like you never know what Jameis is going to show up. So I'm actually going to go Saints.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Saints over the Patriots.
I'm going to go with Patriots. I'm going to go Patriots.
Patriots are playing at home, but I'm going to tell you, this is what's frustrating about Jameis Winston. He has a terrible week last week. He's going to come back this week, and he's going to light it up. And so I'm going to go Saints.
All right.
So everybody's got Saints, including TSG, except the Pooh Bear.
That, and it makes your wife happy, right?
It does make the wife happy. Yes.
So kind of our last story here before we leave football and head over to baseball. We kind of already mentioned, just, some around the league type stuff. We've nailed some of it, but I think the one story we haven't talked about yet, we talked about Jameis being Jameis. We talked about Baker Mayfield, some of those injuries. But How about this? The Texans QB Tyrod Taylor looks like he's going to end up on the injured reserve. That team is already horrible, right? Is week 3 when you take a look at Cam Newton?
So
he's out there. He's a free agent.
So Pooper, help me out. I know that the injured reserve rules changed last year. Do you know the details on the new injured reserve?
I'm not sure exactly when it changed, if it was last year or the year before. It's been recent memory. But so now it used to be where if you were on the injury reserve list, you were out for the season, no matter if it was week 1 or week 16, you were gone. Now the rule has changed to where in the first half of the season, you can go be on injury reserve list and come back after 8 weeks, which the Bucs utilized last year for Vita Vea, right? If we all remember, he had that horrific injury on his leg, was able to go on the IR, but yet come back and still play. So the Bucs
picked up McClendon. Yeah,
correct. Okay. They were able to use this roster spot and then still utilize the player later in the season. It's a bit confusing. It's not like baseball where it's a 10-day IL or a 30-day IL. It is at least an 8-week, but could be longer for some players depending on your situation. So, Tyrod Taylor, if he's going on the IL, you get that? That remains to be seen.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. You had food in your mouth.
I know, right? I was eating on air. We got phone calls on air. Kids coming in the background. We're a bunch of idiots. We're sorry, folks. We're just big dumb animals. Anyway, so Tyrod was actually playing well. You know, he I think they won last week. They beat the Texans or the Jaguars, right? And then this week that was actually a winnable game. I think they ended up losing, but Tyrod, if he had remained in, would have been fantastic. So, but I don't know if they go looking for Cam Newton, they still have a top 5 quarterback on their roster who's just not play
it. He's not going to play it down all season.
Well, how do we know that? The Texans won't even answer whether or not he's healthy.
That's what I don't think he's going to play it down all season.
You know, I wonder if the Texans. Okay, so again, it's a touchy subject. So I wonder if the Texans and the NFL have some sort of like gentleman's agreement that they say, look, we don't want to suspend the guy. We don't want to make it muddier than it already is. If you guys agree not to play him, we agree, not to try to, take some sort of further action to make the NFL look bad in either way.
I wouldn't put it past him.
No, I think it's probably best for everybody involved.
I mean, here's my thing. Here's that angle. I like that angle. I've always said that, and this is flipping sports here a little bit, but the reason that Michael Jordan retired from the NBA the first time around was because he had a deal not to get suspended for all the gambling.
That's possible. We're and I've always kind of bought into that because they did seem so creative of a solution. But these are different. These are charges. These are legal charges against someone. The Dodgers did this with Trevor Bauer this season as well. After his accusations of domestic violence appeared, he just kind of went on a suspension list, and it kept getting extended until finally they said, "Hey, you're out for the season." He's not injured. There was actually no trial. There was no arrest. And the same things happened with Deshaun. There has been no arrest. There's just been accusations from women.
Well, I think to some degree, I think where there's smoke, Pooh Bear, there's a little bit of fire.
Absolutely, because the list is long. It's 25 women or so.
Yeah, I was going to say whether it's a law enforcement investigation or not. Right. I assure you, Major League Baseball and the NFL are doing their own, where they're looking at it. Hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. We're not going to be judge and jury or jury judge, whatever.
And if that's the case, why not cut him?
We see enough to say you're not playing.
So why not cut him then? If you're so confident these charges are true, why not cut him? DFA, designate for assignment. You're out.
Because there's probably something against the collective bargaining agreement that prevents them from being able to do that.
I don't know. That sounds like conduct detrimental to the franchise.
I don't know.
What happened to you're innocent until proven guilty?
And that's what I'm saying.
Because somebody makes an accusation, we've seen it before. Women are out there, looking to get paid, and maybe something happened. We saw it with Ben Roethlisberger, for crying out loud, and that didn't stick.
100%. And I'm all for the man getting his time in court. That's to me, that's a separate issue from work. Your job is to play football. You're being accused of something outside of football. your organization doesn't want to be associated with you if those are true, which
Correct.
and to their credit, they should not be, right? Let's not get that mistake made. But if he's healthy and he's able to play, and you're going to give him the benefit of doubt, why not play him? Why is he sitting on your inactive list every day, every week? That doesn't make any sense to me. Cut him or play him. He's a top 5 quarterback.
But they want something for him. Listen, if the guy gets cleared of all of this stuff, whether they want him to be the quarterback in Houston or not, they want to get something for him.
Is there a better way to prove his value than to play him?
No, I mean, his past work history, I think, speaks for itself.
Well, people are starting to – apparently the teams have forgotten about it because they don't want to give up anything of value. So,
well, because nobody wants to, the trouble that could come with it. I mean, this is a bad situation, I mean, it is. Yeah.
But I think the Texans are playing this completely wrong. Again, cut him or play him.
They're also paying him. Don't forget that. They're paying him.
Exactly. So. What you're telling me a ton is that you believe the accusations are true, and therefore you don't want to be associated with him, but you don't want to cut him and let any other team benefit from him.
Okay, so I know a guy who worked for the fire department, and some accusations were made. They were later completely discredited. It took over a year for the process to play out. Okay. During that year period, the fire department didn't pay him. They may have terminated him. I don't remember exactly, but they had to go back and they gave him back his money and stuff like that. But here's the thing: his reputation was ruined, and that year for him was a financial. I mean, he never really recovered from it, even though they gave him a check. You can't just do that to people over these accusations. So I understand. I think that Houston is playing this, the way it needs to be played because he's not going to be financially ruined if he doesn't get paid for a year. The guy's made millions. He's worked, a lot more than me. Let's put it that way. So, but if the Chargers
you do live in a
you
gated
don't put them out there.
community.
Well, I mean, there's riffraff out there, man. We gotta don't hate, man. Don't hate.
I just don't.
I feel they're playing it the way it needs to be played. Haven't seen these things go the other way. And if he's guilty, he will be absolutely shunned and punished and everything else. But if he's innocent, I don't want to see him marred any more than he already is. So let's shift it.
Yeah, let's shift this over to baseball. So the Rays have 12 games left in the season. Their magic number currently sits at 6. They are not currently playing very well. But tonight, a top prospect takes the hill. Pooh Bear, what can you tell us about Baz?
The Wizard of Baz is making his first MLB debut tonight. His Major League debut.
Yeah.
Shane Baz, if you don't know, he was the third piece for the Rays in the Archer to Pittsburgh trade. Rays received Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows in return for Chris Archer. The third piece was at that time, he was their 12th overall draft pick, Shane Baz. Out of Texas, big kid, 6'4", terrific fastball. He's got a high 90s fastball, a great a slider, and a little bit of his cutter. He's working on he's got a changeup. He's still working on that, trying to get that dialed in. But he uses his sliders to change up.
Pooh Bear, I believe that he can hit triple digits if he reaches back for one.
Yeah. When he throws his four seamer, it doesn't move very much, but man, my goodness, it can go 99 to 100, which is par for the course for the Rays. I mean, Kevin Cash is famous for saying, "I got a stable full of horses full of pitchers that can throw 100 miles an hour." he's just another one. So he's made his way through AA and AAA this season. Played for the United States Olympic team, winning the silver medal in Tokyo. So anyway, big hopes for this kid.
So could he be a shot in the arm here?
I hope so.
Like this team's kind of faltering, right? So they've played 18 games in the month of September. They've only won 8 out of 18. By the way, this is the team with the best record in the American League. This is not the type of momentum you want going into the playoffs with 2 weeks left. Chief, like none of these last 12 games are gimmies either. how do you see like this playoff picture shaping up in the AL East? There's a couple of wild card. Actually, both of the wild cards likely come out of the AL East.
So, I mean, almost the entire deck in the AL East can be shuffled except for Baltimore. By the way, have y'all, before I get started on that, do y'all know that Archer has just been placed on the 60-day IL?
He's done for the season.
Done for the season. So, yeah, I mean, let's
so
hope,
done with him. So done with him.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we have going on. So the Red Sox have moved into second place. They're only 6.5 games back. We do not have an easy schedule ahead of us. I mean, we have Houston coming up. We have
Toronto
coming up. Oh, yeah. So it is not. It's not looking. It's not easy. Let's put it that way. By the way, Red Sox, they get a couple games against the Orioles still. I mean, come on, man.
Man, that's the luck of the draw right there.
Yeah. So the Blue Jays 7.5 games back. I mean, who knows how this is gonna end up? I mean, there are a number of possibilities. Yankees 10 games back, by the way. Whatever happened to the Yankees, I have no idea.
Dude, I mean, they had a stretch. They won 14 games in a row.
Yeah, just like a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah, then tank. Dude, so many things can happen. The Rays should win the AL East. There are scenarios out there that they don't. There's the real possibility that if the Rays keep playing they are, the Red Sox can come back and move ahead. Or
the reality
even the Blue
is
Jays.
Yeah, I was going to say, like we just said, there's no gimmies in these last 12 games, and we don't particularly match up against the Blue Jays well.
The Blue
we
Jays have turned into, so like their batting average across the board really isn't that awesome. They're batting the same we are. The difference is their timing of their hits has fallen into an area like our timing was 2-3 weeks ago when
they're
everybody was
opportunistic.
There you go.
I think the big difference for them is for the Blue Jays, their pitching has turned around. They traded for Berrios in the trade deadline. They've gotten some, man, I'm watching Shane Baz pitch right now, and the cutter he just threw to this guy. It's pretty sick. So, after the trade, their pitching has definitely gotten better. Robbie Ray is he's pitching tonight, fantastic front line starter. So with the timely hitting, which they've always had, the good pitching, their bullpen has been hanging on enough. Mm-hmm. So that's why the Blue Jays are making a push. And they're just at a time right now where he just gave up a home run. The Rays are just kind of, the Rays
are change.
Yeah, well, it was in there. That one missed. I mean, it's an all-star Taylor Hernandez. It's not like it's nobody. Anyway, so the Rays just need to find. I think their spark right now was Wander Franco, and he's been on the IL with the pulled hamstring.
Mm-hmm. So there's a chance we could see him back this week.
Yeah, midweek, I think, is his projected return. I think that's going to help a ton. I think that's what's going to help turn this team around. And hopefully they're going to get hot going into the playoffs, which is where you want to be. You don't want to be hot at the beginning of September and going into October limping along. You want to get hot with a Randy Arozarena hitting 10 home runs in the playoffs for you coming into October. That's what you want.
I think what you'd like to see here is them to win 8 or 9 of these last 12, cap off the season with a 100-win season. That's the kind of momentum that you want going into it. But think about how timely – It just made me think about this with Wander Franco. The Rays trade for Nelson Cruz and bring up Wander Franco at right around the same time. Mm-hmm. That was what put this team where they're at right now with this commanding lead. That is just the Rays being the Rays, man. I don't know any other way to put it, but Nelson Cruz protecting Wander Franco makes that lineup formidable.
Yeah. And just his presence, I think having someone from your home country, we've talked about this before on the show, having someone from the same part of the country or the same part of that country that you're from was a big help. You also kind of saw a little bit of a spark from Manny Margot and Randy Arozarena. They all kind of started picking up their offensive game about the same time. So it could have been a combined formula of Cruz being a terrific hitter in your lineup that's helping you see better pitches, and also just his veteran presence of having that commonality with these guys. He was probably a guy they had a big head poster of on their walls when they were kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
a fathead.
yeah, a fathead. So now you come and you're sitting on the same bench with this guy. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hope that these guys start to click it a little bit. Wander should come back this week. Hopefully that home run's on a sign of things to come from the boy Baz. Hopefully he settles in. But hey, how about this? Did you guys see this class act move this week by Mookie Betts?
Oh yes, that was just last night.
It was last night. So they're playing the Cincinnati Reds in the Great American Ballpark there in Cincinnati. A rookie has just gotten called up from Cincinnati. His first major league at bat, he takes one deep. Okay. Mookie Betts gets the fans' attention and says, give me the ball. Give me the ball. He wants to get this ball back to give to this rookie so that he can have the ball of his first major league hit and first major league home run.
Yep.
But here's what's even cooler. At the bottom of the 7th inning, Mookie Betts runs back out there with a signed bat and baseball to give the fan for throwing the ball back in.
Yep. Those fans were super cool because, first of all, they immediately gave the ball back to Mookie when he asked for it. Didn't ask for, hey, let me get a jersey. Let me get this or that. Then when he brings the bat back, there is actually a Dodger fan and his son, who the son is wearing a Betts jersey, a Mookie Betts jersey. The fans that are receiving the bat allow that kid to have pictures taken with the signed Mookie bat, and then hands them to the two Cincinnati Reds guys who sit down. Just amazing. That's why I love baseball. The community that is around those people, and Cincinnati is a great baseball town, by the way.
Well, that's a great ballpark if you've ever been.
Yeah, haven't been fortunate enough to do that. I know you have, but it was just a good
ballpark
story. And then when Mookie was asked about it, he's like, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was along the lines of, you've got to treat people like this. That's going to grow the sport. It's going to help the fan remember this moment. And I guarantee you, Mookie made fans. The Reds made fans. It just amazing.
Well, I mean, I think there's just the cool thing about it too is just Mookie's awareness.
Yeah.
Of wanting to make that a moment for that kid. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so guys, how about a little You Can't Fix Stupid?
Oh boy.
All right, Chief, what do you got for us this week?
All right, straight out of Connecticut.
Not Florida.
Yeah, not Florida. Lori Desjardins. Whatever, dude. 45 years old. She goes to get some pizza at the local pizzeria on September 11th, the holy day for first responders and military. Okay. She walks into the pizza shop. There's a sailor there in uniform, and she's decided on her own that this sailor is not a real sailor, that he is imitating, that he's gone to the costume store and has bought a Popeye suit and is out there on his own. Now, here's the kicker. His best friend's parents own this pizzeria place, so they know him. They know he's an active duty sailor. They know who he is. She doesn't want to hear any of it. They try to explain it to her, and she's like, "No, I know a real sailor when I see him." Blah, blah, blah. He shows her his military. I don't know if she asked for it or if he just presented, his ID card, and she says that's not a real ID card, and pulls out her own military dependent card, and she says, "This is what they look like. That's not it." Blah blah blah. And then she's just not satisfied with the fact that she has falsely identified this guy, but then she hauls off and slaps the man.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So September 11th, Lori, I'm looking at her mugshot because she's been arrested for this.
Wow.
But here's what really bothers me about the whole thing, okay? Then she decides to use the mental illness defense. And I'm like, now wait a minute here. You knew that you were in a pizza shop. You knew it was September 11th. You knew that he was at least wearing a set. You had your wits about you, is what I'm trying to say. She was putting pieces of the puzzle together. And just because her Matlock, intuition was off here, and now she wants to blame it on, well, it's not really my fault. No. She injected herself into a situation where she didn't belong, didn't have any part to be there.
So she not only did she insult service members, she insulted people with battling mental illness for real.
Well, sure, absolutely.
I mean,
She also
that's,
disrespected the pizza shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a terrible person.
You don't disrespect the pizza shop.
As you're telling me
No,
as you're telling me that story, that I remember a story that I've got that doesn't make me feel stupid, but anyway, it was kind of funny. I'm in line for a Subway sandwich one afternoon, and as out of the corner of my eye, the guy that comes in to be next after me is wearing full fatigues, and this was about, man, how long was this? 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe, when the military changed from the regular camo to the digital camo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Remember that change?
I think it's longer than that.
Was it longer than that? Well, that's when
I think it's longer than that.
that's about the timeline of the story, because I hadn't seen the new camo out yet. Okay. So I'm standing there getting my order, and they're got this guy's order going, and I see that's I think he was in the Navy. It was blue and navy. And as I get to pay him for mine, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this guy's up too, right? Something I've done before. I'm sure I've done it since. I'll do it again. No big deal. Didn't say anything. He didn't say thank you. Probably didn't know it, because I was pretty much out before he even finished his order. So getting in my truck, putting these things down, and I see him coming out. I'm going, well, those aren't Navy fatigues. He hops in a landscape truck. It's like, Sergeant Slaughter's landscaping or something. And their theme is fatigues. So he was just wearing like his normal work outfit. He's like, I got a free sandwich, right? So I just kind of
was it legit called like Sergeant Slaughter's Lawn Service?
Yeah,
or something?
I think it was more. I think it had more alliteration. It was like, maybe it was Lieutenant Larry's landscaping or something. It was like 3 letters.
Oh my goodness! So this was a legit uniform, but it was for.
Right. I just hadn't familiarized myself with the new uniforms, that the new BDUs, as they call them.
Well, the good thing is it only cost you like $6.99.
Well, I mean, I've bought other people lunch before that weren't service members, so I don't care. It's whatever. It's like you said, $6-7 to me probably meant the world to him. I don't know, but I just, it was just funny that I thought I was doing something one way and I ended up doing it a completely different way. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah, that's funny. That's not nearly as good of a time that we were all at the wing house and we were eating wings, and somehow the waitress comes to pay our bill at the end of the night, and it's been paid for. You guys remember that?
I do remember that.
Remember that?
We still don't know who it was.
We do know who it was.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Well, we suspected who it was, yes.
But I know who. I found out for sure later, but we know who
okay.
it was.
Yeah, I don't think you ever told us. Well, it was funny because we had 2 candidates, because we saw 2 people we knew. We all ran into one person we knew from the softball team, and then I think you ran into someone you knew from work. Chief.
Yes.
So we knew it was probably one of those 2 people. We just didn't know which one.
Yeah, it was the one from work.
There was like 4 or 5 of us. It wasn't a small bill.
It was not a small bill. Oh, man.
That's pretty funny. All right. Excuse me. So, Chief. You have a little something to say about how you feel about the college football rankings that came out today after the Florida Gators just miss against the Alabama Crimson Tide. What's got you?
Okay, so Florida, they lost. They came in second place. They were 2 points short of beating, or at least tying, the number 1 football team in the country. So now their record is 2-1. There are other 2-1 teams out there that have lost to less prestigious schools and or less higher or lower ranked schools at greater margin. For example, we've got Ohio State and Clemson sitting here at 9 and 10. Florida's still sitting at 11. I think they were at 11 on Friday. There it is Monday, and they're still at 11. I mean, I really felt that, that they showed that they should have moved up in the rankings, possibly even Cincinnati crying out loud at number 8, other than the fact that they're 3-0, who have they played to do anything? So I get the fact that these rankings really don't matter for a whole lot, right now, but at some point, in the future, they will. And you're going to need to be in that top 8 if you're going to make those playoffs. And it's just silly things like this, because I really believe, this is more of I guess Clemson and Ohio State have better PR people, than Florida does.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think anybody expected Florida to beat Alabama. And let's be honest, like Florida lost that game in the first quarter. I believe they were down 21-3 after the first quarter. That was the last quarter of football that they lost. They outscored Alabama the rest of the game. Not enough to win, obviously, but that slow start cost them a W.
That did cost them a W, but Florida is a really good football team, and they were a good football team last year too, because in the SEC championship, they gave Alabama everything they wanted and then some. I think they lost that by memory's a little foggy. I'm going to say 3-ish. Okay, so but the fact is, to not get the respect from the carryover from last year, and now to still be, I call it full on disrespect at this point. So if you're going to have rankings, make them have some legitimacy to them. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, Cincinnati, Clemson, Ohio,
I think it's a little early in the game or in the season. I'm sorry, to be even that concerned about it's all going to work itself out, in a couple more weeks.
And I've been a proponent of just going with the BCS rankings at about week 7, week 8. These early season rankings, they're just for conversation pieces. They mean nothing when it comes time to do the actual BCS rankings. That's all done by computer and records, and they do use ranking system in that one. It's kind of help, verify a quality win against an opponent, ranked opponent, all stuff. But it just doesn't matter at this point in the season. It's just for fans and for pundits and for people like us who like to complain about it and talk about it.
Hey, listen, you know who is not good at college football?
FSU.
Florida State.
Let's get them going.
They are not good at college football.
Bro.
We're going to see a head coaching change here pretty quick, I think.
Was it Jacksonville State and now Wake Forest?
I mean, listen, they put Notre Dame against the ropes in week 1.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And now, they are pooping the bed.
Sad. It's kind of sad to see, but as a lifelong Florida State hater, it's not that sad to see. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
is there any story where Urban Meyer
the U isn't any better?
No. But I also want to say, is there any story where Urban Meyer goes to FSU?
No.
Well, good. Think about that. Think about the hate there, because
not only would
he'd have to resign from Jacksonville, and then he a previous national championship coach at the University of Florida, and then go to Florida State. Woo!
I think the USC job would be more attractive than FSU right now.
And he already said he wasn't taking the USC job.
Yeah, well, whatever. He said he wasn't going to Ohio State, and he did. I'm not going to, and he said he retired from Florida because of a heart condition, then took a job the next week. I'm not going to – anything he says is a lie as far as I'm concerned. But I did listen to an interview from Carson Palmer this morning, who was asked about the USC opening, being a USC alum, and who he would like to have see coach there. He said he didn't really care at this point. What he was most excited about was the fact that this job is now open, right? So it's like the first one. So there are no other prestigious college coaching positions open. With this one being the first one, all the other coaches who may or may not get fired, or will get fired or released, will have a chance to see and say, okay, that's the attractive job I want. Whereas in the past we've seen some shuffling. Maybe a prestigious coach took a job at a lesser school and then was kind of committed and felt, I'm obligated to stay here now. I shouldn't leave and go to another school again. So we'll see.
Lane Kiffin.
His name is definitely come up.
He was already fired from USC, wasn't he?
He's already been to USC.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he fired or he just leave? I don't have.
Hey, what about Deion Sanders? Oh, Keyshawn Johnson.
Oh my gosh. None of these people have ever coached before except Deion. He's in his first year.
Deion's killing it over there.
TSG says that they should be coaching in Jacksonville for at least 2 years. Yeah, we'll see about that.
We'll see. Listen, Urban Meyer, I mean, to your point, Chief, he's had a tendency of when the going gets tough, he finds a new gig.
He's got
that's what happened in Florida. They were going to be bowling eligible for a couple of years, and he's like, I'm not wasting my time here.
My heart.
Yeah, my heart. Wheezy.
I gotta go. My heart hurts the next week. He's getting hired by Ohio State. I had a change of mind. I'm on new medication. Then he left there to go play with his kids, and the next thing you know, he's coaching in Jacksonville. Whatever, Urban, you're a liar.
We got a couple of minutes here before the show is over.
Oh.
Let's chat real quick. How are you guys feeling about the Bucs matchup next week against the Rams?
It's gonna be exciting.
Do you know that Tom Brady has never played in Los Angeles?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Not even for a Super Bowl?
Not even for a Super Bowl. He has never played an NFL game in Los Angeles.
You know what? It's kind of believable because the Rams were in St. Louis for most of his career.
Yeah.
And the Raiders were in Oakland instead of LA. Yeah, that's very believable. There's actually probably only had one or two opportunities.
Listen, I think he's going to be pretty excited about that.
Oh, he's going to be excited about it. I mean, this is a really cool stadium that they built over there. So if let's go back to last year, week 11, okay? We played the Rams here in Tampa, Monday Night Football. We lose 27-14, or 27-24. Okay, so we lose that game. The Rams are essentially the Buccaneers of last year. So what I mean is they were missing one key position, and that was the quarterback. Yep. And they have a quarterback now. I'm going to tell you right now, this team needs to be worried. Yes. Matthew Stafford's legit. We have got to and they are going to attack our secondary. I mean,
gosh.
So, I mean, this game is possibly
right now,
the worst matchup that we can have.
Right now, Matt Stafford's, sitting in the film room going like this.
Oh, listen, the Rams, Matthew Stafford threw 278 yards against the Colts. Really good defense. He only threw for 321 yards yesterday against the Bears.
Only
321 yards. Only 321. The Rams are favored to win this game. We're going in, the Buccaneers, world champion Buccaneers, are going into this.
Well, they're going a couple time zones across. It's an away game. It's our first away game. Listen, I get it. I mean, listen, I think none of us truly know what kind of quarterback Matthew Stafford could be because he has been in the bunghole of the NFL for his entire career, right, in Detroit. And you're about to see, I mean, an interesting thing about tonight's game, the Monday Night Football game is the Packers versus the Lions. And we're going to see if your boy Aaron Rodgers is going to rebound. Could be interesting.
It's going to be intriguing for sure. It's the game. It's America's game of the week. It's
the Aaron Rodgers memes this week have been so money.
Oh my God. The yoga instructor versus the MVP.
Oh man, the memes have been awesome. And one of my favorite ones is like the picture of him and Tom side by side, and Rodgers is like 5 years younger than Tom. He looks 10 years older.
Yes.
So how many State Farm commercials do we watch tonight? By the way,
oh my gosh,
a lot. We see a lot.
Never ending.
The floating shoes. The sneakerhead. Oh my gosh. Hey, I did read the story of how the Jake changed. Remember, we were all questioning how we went from the one Jake to now it's a different Jake?
Yeah.
I read the story on that. Apparently, the first Jake was actually a real State Farm agent who just kind of did it on a whim. And once they realized, hey, this is a good character, we're going to make it recurring, that's when they had tryouts for a new actor to do it professionally. Because the other Jake, that's really his name is Jake. He's truly
he's got to sell insurance.
he's still working for State Farm at one of their agencies. I thought that was a pretty cool story.
That's a khaki. What you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
His only line, khakis.
Khakis.
That's his only line in that commercial, and that's why he only has the one line because he's not really an actor. He's an insurance guy.
Oh man, that is funny.
So, but yes, we will see lots and lots of State Farm tonight.
Yeah. So and we kind of bounce around there, but what do you? I know that the Rams are favored. How do you see this game playing out versus the Bucs this coming Sunday?
Well, obviously, as a homer, I'm thinking the Bucs are going to win. It's not going to be easy. It's probably going to be a close game, come down to the wire. Probably another one of these. Tom leads them down for a field goal victory kind of thing. But this is a tough defense, man. Aaron Donald is fantastic. Jalen Ramsey's going to be a number one corner, probably going to be on Mike Evans. But that's going to be a lot of opportunities for Chris Godwin and Gronkowski and AB and Scotty Miller and the list goes on. That's going to be the advantage for the Buccaneers. Their depth on offense is going to be the advantage for them.
I'm excited to see how both coaches attack this game. I want to, I want to see are the Rams going to actually try to run against us? By the way, if any quarterback is prepared for our rush, it's Matthew Stafford, because he's been running for his life for a decade.
True
so
that.
I mean, he's been in boot camp for this game, for a long time. Jalen Ramsey, by the way, he's been all over the field. I mean, that cat has been playing almost every position on defense, and I would not be surprised to see him on Gronk. I wouldn't be surprised to see. How about Howard, by the way? OJ Howard made a nice catch, finally, not on practice, actually on game day. I wouldn't be surprised to see us having to, break out with more. We saw a lot of 3 tight end sets in the second half of the game. We may see more of that. We're moving the ball, not just to Godwin and Antonio Brown, but to Cameron Brate, OJ Howard.
What you're hoping, Chief, is there's parts of the Bucs offense we haven't revealed yet because we knew we were coming up against some tough games.
Well, we definitely, yeah.
I think they're going to have to. Exactly right there, what you just said, Chief, about stacking the offensive line. I think you're going to see a lot more of Gronk staying in the block this week. He's probably not going to catch 2 tutties.
Right.
He's going to have to stay in the block to fend off that pass rush from the Rams, which is going to open up the outsides for the Bucs. But you're probably going to see more of a run control game, taking the time off the clock, keeping the Rams off the field, or offense off the field. So a heavy dose of Leonard Fournette. If you've got him on your fantasy team like I do, go ahead and start him. It could be a good week.
Listen, where are we doing football at on Sunday?
Matty Ho's.
Matty Ho was up. All right.
Matty Ho is stepped up to the plate, volunteered. He says he doesn't know he's going to want to provide, but he's the top of the list.
We'll figure it out. So before Pooh Bear closes out the show here, just a reminder that because next week's Buccaneers game is another 4:30 game, there will not be a Sunday night show. We will be 2 weeks in a row in this time slot on Monday. So make sure you catch us then. Pooh Bear?
That's right. I kind of like the Monday thing, except for the whole chicken nugget incident I had and a couple other things happening up here. It's been kind of nice, though. I kind of like, getting ready to settle down, watch the night game. Anyway, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because you cannot live without this kind of content right here with live chicken nugget eating and stupid military stories. Oh, man. Like Lovell just said, we'll be back next Monday night, 7 o'clock live for your interaction. Go ahead and get in the comments below and tell us what you want us to talk about so that next time you're a part of the show. Thanks again. We'll see you then. Say goodnight, Chief.
Hey, TSG, drive safe. Good night.
See you.
And quit texting and driving, TSG.